It was how close is the sim model to real life, and your answer was
Like spot on.
like
Yeah.
he already. Welcome to the Data Lap podcast, where sim racing collides with real world motorsport. My name is Greg De Giorgis. I'm a pro race engineer, the founder and CEO here at the Chicane Club, and your host. On this show, I sit down with the real racers we work with to share a little bit of insight into how we help them elevate their game. Let's get to it. Hello and welcome to the Data Lap podcast by us here at the Chicane Club. My name is Greg De Giorgis. I'm the CEO and founder here. Kind of the idea where this podcast came from that we're going to get started with is we want to tell those stories of the drivers that we work with here, especially the real race car drivers who drive out in real life sometimes. But this is going to be kind of a short form podcast format for us just getting to know the people that come here that we work with and help them get faster, and some of the other cool people that we interact with from time to time also. So sitting beside me is a very familiar face who's been on our YouTube channel and our social media a lot, Rocco Pasquarella. Say hi.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rocco Pasquarella, pro member here at the Chicane Club, and I race in TCR with KMW Motorsports, competing in IMSA's Michelin Pilot Challenge this year.
Yeah. So last year we worked a lot with Rocco in some of his SCCA SMX stuff, as well as MX5 Cup for the VIR in Road Atlanta last year. We did a lot of sim prep for that. Everything we've done so far has been on iRacing. You want to talk a little? Let's back up a little bit. Let's talk about a little bit about what we did last year with the MX5 Cup model for VIR in Road Atlanta. What was similar? What was different? What did we learn along the way with all that?
Yeah, one thing that's really similar is just the tracks with iRacing. Obviously, the 3D scan is pretty close, and the elevation was kind of the biggest thing at Road Atlanta.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the tracks are super good to be able to get familiar with here. And we worked on specific stuff that when I was able to go to the events, we weren't learning the track, learning the car. We were able to focus on gapping, qualifying, really bumping in that series too. So, obviously getting all the simple work out of the way here made a pretty big difference over there.
Yeah. So what he's touching on there, that's really fun. I had the opportunity to actually work with, obviously we did a lot of sim prep here in the building. I don't know, you probably did hundreds of hours last year getting ready for those two race events. But we did a lot of sim prep here in the building. One of the dynamics, if you've ever watched an IMSA MX5 Cup broadcast, is that there's a lot of bumping and drafting and kind of bullying and all the qualifying and race sessions. So what we focused on here was getting Rocco's to the point where he could go out in his first test session, practice session, and just go set a fast lap on his own. And then for his practice sessions at the real race weekend, that was all about the dynamics of driving around other cars. I mean, how much was a draft worth at Road Atlanta?
It was a lot, yeah. I mean, it was the difference between like pole and 15th, so it's pretty big.
And it's not a draft off of one car or two cars. I think we said we ideally want 4 or 5 cars. We also worked with Sam Paley, who's a veteran of MX5 Cup and also coached Rocco one-on-one, so that he was like, if you don't have 5 cars in front of you, reposition and try again for next lap, because it's not possible. But yeah, that was really fun because we didn't have an AI model or 30 MX5 Cup Pro level drivers to do a hosted session with in iRacing. We just had to focus on what we could control ourselves. We did do race simulations and quali simulations with the AI models turned all the way up, but ultimately they didn't really represent exactly what it's like to race in real life. So let's fast forward to where we are now, or honestly back 2-3 weeks, going into Daytona. So new car, you've never driven the Honda Civic TCR car before. You've never driven a front-wheel drive race car before. I know you drive a Civic Type R on the road, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But you've never driven a front-wheel drive race car before, and you've never been to Daytona, and you've never driven Michelin Pilot Challenge before, which is a multi-class endurance format where you have a co-driver. So a lot of new things going on. Knowing what we knew about Pilot Challenges and endurance format, what did we do differently compared to like MX5 Cup with everything?
Really, the big thing was the long stint runs. MX5 Cup's 45 minutes, so it's kind of just go get to the front and pace around up there. But for example, there I had the triple stint, so I was in the car for almost 3 hours, and that's really just what we worked on here, was just maintaining my pace and track position, which is really, that's what that series is, right, until the last 45 minutes to an hour,
right.
Basically the last stop. Yeah, I mean, that's really the main thing we worked on, and it worked out pretty good. I qualified P2, ran around within the top 5 the whole race, and ended up 6th. So can't really complain about that.
Yeah, I had a very proud moment having worked with Rocco all of last year, and then I was at the Roar the weekend before the race weekend, and I think the first session I got to watch you on track, you set the fastest lap time of any driver in your category in your probably your third session and second day in the car.
It was the second session.
Yes.
Yeah, I think from like the first session, I had gone out and like lap 3, I was already really comfortable in the car, which just shows how much, like, I was already sold on that when we did the LMP3 in Spain.
Yeah.
Like that immediately I was kind of sold on the sim, but then this like really reassured it.
Yeah.
That, by like lap 3 or 4, I was comfortable. Like, all right, we can start working on stuff now. And yeah, I put just a solid lap together. I was just driving around.
You weren't trying to set a...
Yeah, no, I was just driving around. They're like, hey, just go run some race pace. And I don't know, ended up P1. They're like, it's P1. I'm like, oh, okay, nice.
That's a cool feeling to just show up and be fast.
Yeah, not too bad.
So that part was cool. But yeah, my background is very heavily on the endurance and sports car side, a little bit away from the MX-5 type of racing. So knowing that, we did a lot of work, like we talked about, with multi-class. You're in a TCR car, and you're sharing the racetrack with GT4 cars, I think usually 30 of them. So with that in mind, you have to be able to, in a longer race where the traffic will actually come back around, or, you're starting the race on the slower drivers in front of you. We did a lot of work on, the best practices for maintaining our pace while there's other cars of a different class racing around us. The other important thing with an endurance format, especially in a front-wheel drive car, was tire management. So managing the entire process of warming the tire, using it at its peak, and then managing it over, probably a 45-minute. How long are your stints?
Around that, yeah.
Around 45 minutes long. So managing the tires for that entire time. In addition, we did a little bit of practice with fuel saving, and every microliter of fuel that you can save at any point in time, it just shortens the refill time. So that was something that directly translated from this into real life. And that, honestly, even before we started doing prep for this season, we did a lot of it last year with like our iRacing special endurance events that we did. We always ended up saving at least 2 laps of fuel every single stint. So that was a direct transition, which is pretty cool. This was the one thing that I loved is that when I walked over to you and I saw you at Daytona, the first thing I think I probably asked you was, how close is the sim model to real life? And your answer was?
Like, spot on.
Like, he already said this. It was spot on to the point where you said 3 laps in, oh, this is exactly like the iRacing model of this car. Like, and what does that mean? When you and I say that, what does that mean? Like, the behavior of the cars?
Yeah, it's really the mechanical part. Obviously, the behavior is a little bit different. Just, I think, a newer tire.
Yeah.
That we're running, and I think we have a little bit more power than the iRacing model. Just looking at lap times and top end speed, but basically just the feeling of the car. Right, I've never driven a front wheel drive car, so kind of understanding how to drive that and save the tires while doing that is big. Because again, 45 minutes, I can smoke through a set of tires and put a new one on tomorrow and go racing again. So that was really the big thing that we worked on. And then when I was there, like just comfortable wise in the car. Started working on some laps and just like, dang, like it kind of just felt like muscle memory. Like I had to kind of snap out of my rhythm and be like, oh, like it actually feels what I've been doing.
This isn't iRacing anymore.
Yeah. I kind of just got into a rhythm really quick and was just driving around and I was like, dang.
No, that's awesome. And I haven't worked on a TCR program or been involved in one, so it was kind of my first time working with a driver getting prepared to drive a front wheel drive car like that for the first time. So I took a lot of, scientific wild ass guesses with how we're going to come across some things, but I didn't know how close the iRacing model was, and I've heard mixed results from drivers. But it sounds like the Honda model on iRacing was really pretty spot on. So that gives us a lot of confidence as we go into what's our next race?
Sebring. So Sebring. 2-hour race there.
Yeah. So a slightly shorter race. Your Daytona debut was 4 hours with your co-driver, Tim. But going into Sebring, and into the rest of the season, honestly, as your coach and from the engineering side, it gives me a lot of confidence that we have a lot more that we can dig into if we know that the car model is that close in the way that it behaves. There's always going to be slight infidelities here and there, but as long as we know what they are, we have something to work around, which is really cool. What was the biggest thing that was different from iRacing?
That's close. I mean, it's close, right? I think the biggest thing, like I mentioned, was the speed. I think we were like 14 miles an hour faster into turn 1.
Right.
So, just moving that braking zone a little bit, and same to the bus stop. But other than that, I mean, it's pretty spot on. Like I can't really tell a massive difference.
Yeah, I think it worked out to like a 2 to 3 second lap time. Like you were faster in real life, and I think it largely comes down to the amount of power that IMSA lets you guys run with the BOP. So I mean, it's cool. You're actually faster than in the sim in a lot of ways, but a lot of the minimum quarter speeds and everything were close. So, yeah, what are you looking forward to with Sebring?
Obviously, I got my first win there, so I have pretty good results at Sebring. And it's the home track. It's just I enjoy driving the track too. It's fun. Really, what I'm looking forward to though is getting to drive this car on like a true harsh track. Daytona, like you were talking about, what you have to do to make the car last around Daytona is not the like baseline handling of that car.
Yeah.
So finally getting able to just race it, and I think it's going to race a lot better too. Not as much pacing. I think we'll have a lot more traffic than Daytona, just how the cautions were played out. But yeah, I think just getting to drive like the actual track and Sebring, it's not a boring track, but
and close to home too, which is
nice. It's not too bad.
Yeah, we're in our Jupiter location right now. It's about a 2-hour even drive to get there from here. So it's our closest track of the year. Daytona is a little over 3 hours. So, yeah, like he was saying, from the engineering standpoint, the two big things that drive what you do with the setup with a race car at Daytona, the number one thing is getting your tires to last. If you run traditional cambers and pressures and alignment stuff that you do at a normal road course, your tires may not last more than 15 minutes. And when I say last more than 15, I mean they're going to blow out at 160 miles an hour when you're crossing the start-finish line. And I've had a number of days ruined from that happening. So usually you straighten the tires up, you reduce your camber by more than half. You add probably 4 more PSI. You're probably normally operating 28, 29 PSI. Daytona, you're at 32, 33. And that's just to get the tires to hang on. And then the other thing is that what makes a car fast at Daytona is literally its braking ability and its ability to accelerate off of really coming out of turn 6 and through the bus stop. So largely when you get to the infields, everyone usually complains the first time they drive Daytona in a car they're used to. They go into the infield, they go through the horseshoe, and they're like, wow, that's unbelievable understeer. This is wrong. We got to fix that. And you're like, wait, no, hold on. If we fix that, you're going to be slow everywhere else, and we're actually going to lose time. So that's just what he's referring to. And then going into Sebring, which is a pretty big step towards being a more traditional racetrack, aside from all the insane bumps that it has. Sebring will kind of free that back up to going to more traditional setup, and the deviation with Sebring is going to be your damper settings with how not flat the place is. So, but yeah, that's really exciting. I have a little bit of a fun thing that we're going to do here and maybe start as a tradition on this show. You're going to be definitely back here again, but this is kind of like a fun thing that I came up with. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you this headset and you're going to put it on. This is going to be an onboard audio only lap of one racetrack that you get to listen to once, and you have to do your best job at trying to figure out, 1, what track it is, and 2, what car it is. I will tell you it is a track that you're going to drive this year, and that's all I'm going to tell you, and it's from a modern race car. If you can tell me what car it is, that's also bonus points. But
all right.
I think it's pretty straightforward. It will start at the start-finish line. So
okay. Is it a track I've driven that you know of?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I don't think it's a dead giveaway, but I think you'll figure it out. So.
All right.
Just keep listening. Think about like the distance between the straightaways. It's a little boring for the first bit. Do you know what car it is? No. It's not a car you drive that I'm aware of.
All right, I thought I had it, and that just threw me off.
I'm gonna zoom in on his face for this next time.
I don't know. I want to say it's a Lamborghini.
Okay.
Or a Porsche. Maybe a Super Trofeo. I'm not sure.
All right. Here, let's work on what the car is first. All right. I'll accept Lamborghini as an answer because that engine is in another car.
The Audi.
It's in the Audi.
Okay.
So that was an R8 GT3. Do you know what track it was?
I was kind of sold on Sebring, and then I thought we were getting to turn 7 and he sped up again. So I may have been dragging it a little bit wrong.
Okay.
Um,
It's got a lot of elevation change.
Yeah, the other one I was thinking of was Mid Ohio. That's what it is?
It's Mid Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a very, like, from the start line to turn 1 is very, very, very short, and then you run up the hill to the keyhole, and then the long back straightaway, and then it's 4, 5, 6, how it just keeps going back and forth, how you can keep hearing the engine run up and down.
Yeah.
But if you have one thing in your mind with, like, listening to an onboard, and then you try to, like, align that with what you think it is, and it's wrong, and then you're like, man, I just listened to the whole lap thinking it was one thing and it was another.
Yeah, I was going into turn 1, which I thought was turn 1 at Sebring, and I heard the exit curbs on the outside. I'm like, oh, okay, probably Sebring.
Okay.
Probably thinking, to the left-hander after turn 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of slowed down. It was for the keyhole, but it was a little spread out, and I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know now.
And then I was expecting him to get that run to turn 7, and he just kept accelerating. And I'm like, yeah, that's definitely not it.
Okay, that's not it. But cool. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. We'll do more of these as Rocco progresses through his season. We'll bring other people on. So this is fun. But yeah, my name is Greg De Giorgis. Do you have anyone else that you want to thank while you're on air right now?
Yeah, I mean, obviously everyone here at the Chicane Club, all the prep definitely pays off as it showed.
Mm-hmm.
I think Sebring will be really good, especially being a home track as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I want to thank everyone at KMW Motorsports, Coral Springs Honda, HRC, and obviously the Chicane Club again. So every one of those guys are on board with me this year, and it's making my dream happen. So
awesome. Yeah, no, it's really exciting that we're going to be working with Rocco pretty extensively for his entire campaign this year, to get him ready for all the races. I'm going to fly out to some of them. I don't think I'm going to have as much availability to be on the headset with you throughout every single session all season. But you've advanced so far that I don't even know that you need that, and you've got a team that's really awesome to back you up and be on top of all that for you. So, yeah, but stay tuned for more of these. Yeah, we'll catch you guys with the next one sometime soon.